Art, by definition, is the expression or application of creative human skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as a painting or a sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. But what happens if Infiniti take this art and make it something which is practical, something which has performance as well?
This is the Infiniti QX70s. This is Infiniti's SUV/crossover 4x4. It's an approach on the market of the Audi Q7 and the BMW X4 and X6. Infiniti Retail Group have given me the keys to one for a week to see how I get on putting it through the paces of my day-to-day life, my gigs, my everything. So let's crack on. The first test is a bit of a big gear test. See, I'm playing the O2 a bit later. I'm picking my friend up, we're taking all of his equipment and all of my equipment all in the back. And then we're going to have to drive all the way across North London to get to the O2. So with traffic, load weight, thin roads, how are we going to get on?
Is it setting here?
Going across North London, we averaged about 30 miles per gallon, which considering the traffic we hit was remarkably good. Then the load capacity was overwhelming. It took everything that we could throw at it with space to spare. In fact, there was space on the return trip to take a friend. The load height was very, very comfortable, and having an automatic rear door was extremely convenient. Not to forget just how good this looked outside the venue.
So after a somewhat productive day driving to the O2, taking loads of equipment, and in the end actually taking 3 people back on top of our equipment, I'm now heading off to another gig. The fuel economy isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now, it's not going to be a 2-litre EcoBox, but considering this is an extremely heavy 4-wheel drive, I think I'm averaging about 35 on the motorway and around town about 25, 26. But when I say around town, I mean driving around London in traffic. Yesterday, when I arrived at the O2, we went to load in, and the security guard was just raving about the car. He was going mental. He was saying, Infiniti, oh, they're amazing. Oh, I can't believe you got this. This is really cool. I'm so gutted I wasn't recording it because his reaction was absolutely priceless. Now, onwards to Somerset. I've got about 200 miles to do today. Nothing too heavy. And it's going to be so comfortable.
Lapping up the motorway miles, you soon discover just how much of a motorway cruiser the QX70s is. And on top of that, when you start to get onto these B roads and A roads, you can start to have a bit of fun. While it is wide, it doesn't hold you back. The 50-50 weight distribution is a godsend, and the torque from that 3-litre diesel meant that at no point did I not have a smile on my face. When you kept your foot off the accelerator on a run, I averaged about 37, which is in the realms of that Audi Q5, Q7 and BMW X4, X5, X6. I spent the rest of the time I had with this car driving quite a lot, driving around the M25, driving to press events, and generally just getting a really good feel for just how awesome this car was. When I really wanted to push it and have fun in the back roads keeping up with another semi-quick car, the 50-50 weight distribution was just blissful. The car never understeered, it never oversteered. Now, be it that I never pushed it to the point that it did, it was still a really fun and safe car to drive. The 3-litre V6, which has a really nice growl, has 235 brake horsepower and gets to 62 miles an hour in 8.3 seconds. So this thing does not hang around. But would I really rate this above things like an Audi Q5, a Q7 or a BMW X4 or X6?
A huge, massive thank you to Infiniti Retail Group, who have lent me this car for the week. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible. They lent it to me to use for my gigs and to effectively turn into my daily for an entire week. I've never known a dealership group, or dealership specifically Reading, so friendly and outgoing in my entire life. So let's get to the specifics of this particular vehicle. It's a 2015/16 Infiniti QX70s. It's a 3-litre V6 turbo. It has 234 brake horsepower and does 0 to 62 in 8.3 seconds. It comes with a 7-speed automatic gearbox, and generally on a run I've got between 32 and 33 miles per gallon, and combined between that and some town driving knocks it down to about 28. As vehicles go, this has a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. So they designed this in a way that it can be driven more like a sports car. There's adjustable suspension, there's a switch down there that you press, and then all of a sudden it's stiffened up and literally all the body roll goes away. With humongous tyres comes humongous grip, and that alongside the adjustable suspension means that you never really feel out of control, and you can really push this car much harder than you would ever think you could push an SUV. It is limited to 133 miles an hour. However, I think with this engine it could probably push through to round about 150 mark. Onto the colour. This is Black Obsidian. It's a free standard colour that comes with them. Some of the other colours, like the white, are an extra £760. This comes with scratch shield paint, and I've got to say, even when it's disgustingly dirty, the paint still looks really good. This has 21-inch 6-spoke alloy wheels in black. That's an extra £1,000-ish on the price. And inside we've got graphite leather seats. The dash and all the trim is the black lacquer and aluminium trim spec, which is an extra £305. Then you've got the multimedia pack, which gives you a hard drive, it gives you the DAB radio, all that kind of stuff. It comes with a sunroof as standard, and there are cameras all around the car. Now, it is a big car, so you probably would need a little bit of help in some situations. The fact that there are cameras everywhere mean that you never stress. It comes with lane assist and lane departure warnings, heated and cooled seats. However, in the S model, you do get radar guided cruise control. It comes with electrically adjustable seats, which have electrically adjustable bolsters. And when you turn the car off, the seat goes back, so it's easier for you to get in and out, and as soon as you get back in, it remembers your driver setting and puts you exactly back where you were. There is decent rear legroom. It's not fantastic, but it's good enough for 3 normal sized adults. However, if you're a little bit bigger, you're not going to get 3 of you in the back, but there is enough bum space for 3 normal adults. The legroom isn't class leading, but also isn't horrific. We're not saying we're not looking at a tiny car, we are looking at a car that has reasonable legroom. The rear seats recline to give the rear passengers an even more comfortable seating position. Now, that's something I've not really seen in rear passenger seating before. Headroom is decent. Up the front, I have no issues, and taller people wouldn't have any issues. However, in the back, it's a bit like an X6 in the fact that it slopes back a little bit and it becomes a bit more restricted. However, it's not as bad as an X6, because in an X6, even I have to do this. It's got a fully automatic boot, which can be controlled by the key to open and close it, and it has keyless entry. There's a button on the door, you click, the door is unlocked, you get in, you press a button, you start. You don't ever have to take the key out of your pocket. The boot has 410 litres of storage, and that really isn't that amazing for such a big vehicle. However, you've got to accept that it is a 4-wheel drive, and a lot of this extra space is being taken up by the drivetrain underneath. But that said, when you fold down the rear seats, you are suddenly pleasantly surprised with 1,305 litres of load capacity. Now that is impressive. It has a 5-star Endcap rating and ISOFIX, so if you're looking for a safe and practical family car, this should definitely come as a contender, because ISOFIX for the baby seats, 5-star Ancap rating means no matter what happens, you are going to come out of the car safe. Tax is a little bit heavy on this because it is a dirty diesel. It's a 3-litre V6. It's quite a juicy 3-litre V6, and as such, you're looking at around 295 annual road tax. Not the worst. I have seen other 3 litres that have had it at the extra tier, almost V8 level, but obviously it's something to consider when you're looking at this car. So on to my feelings about this car. I love how it looks and I love how it drives. The styling is so typically Infiniti, and it stands out so much in the wilds of the road. Even driving through Windsor just now, I had people consistently stopping and looking at it, and you either get a confused look of, huh, what is that? Or you get a smiley face of, oh, cool, what is that? I never ever see someone looking at it going, ugh, that's disgusting. It's different, it stands out, and if you have one, you will stand out. It's practical and safe beyond words.
It's really easy to live with. It's easy to drive, however, some thin roads and width restrictions will cause you a bit of a headache, as 6'6" can be quite tight in this because it is a wide car. But then again, you also have the issue that because the bonnet kind of slopes up at the front, it gives the impression it's wider than it is, whereas in something that didn't have a curved bonnet, you would probably just go straight through the width restriction. The sat-nav and radio is quite literally idiot-proof, and it's so easy to use. They've just completely got it down to a T. I am not the biggest fan of the infotainment system in the Q30 and Q50. It's almost there, but it's not quite there. This slightly older system is so idiot-proof. I love it. The fuel tank is extensive. If you're going on a long drive, you can fill this up once. And for me, that cost around about £130. Now for that £130, I think I worked it out at high 600s, early 700s, which comes in at around 28 miles per gallon, which is my combined between this entire time I've had the car. I'm almost entirely sold on this car. However, the 3-litre diesel engine does need an update. It sounds great and it performs decently, but it could have a bit more power, and it could be a little more fuel efficient, and the engine could have start-stop. But that said, there is a new model coming out which I'm fairly certain has had all those tweaks done to it. The gearbox could utilise the low end of a diesel engine a bit more, as I'm fairly certain that it's a fairly quick map that they've done, as these generally sell as a V6 petrol or a V8 petrol. It's not been tailored as much towards the diesel. However, a quick gearbox remap and you're going to be looking at something which will change a lot lower down instead of revving all the way through, and this car would be considerably quicker. These retail on the road between £50,000 and £55,000 with some options on them. That would be paint, multimedia pack, and all those little bits and pieces. This particular 2015 vehicle, which has around 10,000 miles on the clock, is retailing for $29,995 at Infiniti in Reading. I think that's an absolute bargain for a vehicle that has so much tech, so much comfort and luxuriousness, has so much safety, and is in general such a standout vehicle. Brand new price still on PCP works out relatively nicely and comes in below its competitors like an X6 and an Audi Q7. I'm really almost there on this vehicle. It's almost perfect, and it's almost something that I could drive daily for the foreseeable future. I just need the fuel efficiency to be a little bit better. On a run today, I actually saw 36 miles per gallon, but obviously that's traffic dependent. And because it's such a big vehicle, if you are doing a lot of start-stop, it is going to eat through a lot of fuel. However, when you're on a run, if you keep it up at 65 to 70 miles an hour, it pushes itself along. As long as you don't have some big hills to go up, you will be quite surprised by the fuel economy this big vehicle is getting. I mean, if I look at a Q5, at the best I saw out of that 3-litre diesel was around about 38 miles per gallon. So for this to be turning around potentially 36, it isn't far off that. It's just that around the town MPG that you have to be aware of. So that's it. My week with the Infiniti QX70s is done. Big thanks again to Infiniti Retail Group for hooking me up. If you are interested in this vehicle, have a look on their website. You'll see it on there. And for $29,995, you would be an idiot not to grab this bargain. But if you're looking for a new car and you want to spec it to your exact want and your exact need, 50 to 55 for what you get is also an incredible bargain. Bye.